Thank you for joining me. Today's class, we're going to focus on using some of the tools that we played with in the fourth part of our series on pranayama, where we begin to look at how to distort the ratio between the inhalation and exhalation in order to create specific effects within different poses. So primarily we'll be working with either a 4-6, breathing in for 4 and out for 6, or a 4-4. Okay. Those of you that do a lot of breath work and find that 4-6 and 6-4 too easy, you can go a little further to 4-7 or 4-8 and 8-4 to make it more challenging if you wish to. Let's begin by closing your eyes and relaxing your face, your jaws, your lips, your tongue, your mouth. And just noticing, if you relax and let the body breathe, does your body have a preference right now for the inhalation or for the exhalation? Which is more conscious? Which is longer? Which is more full? And then very gently emphasize the opposite one. Just bringing back to balance slightly. Bring a little more awareness into whichever you were not paying attention to. As you're doing this, relax the space behind the eyeballs, the root of the tongue, the cheeks. And begin very delicately to float your head around to the left or to the right. Or to roll the shoulders. And then very gently coming into a twist, leading with the right shoulder, drawing the shoulder around, finding the floor with your fingertips, crossing the left hand over. Lift, expand, broaden, and rotate. And then breathing deeply into this position with a complete breath or complete back breath. If you're not familiar with that, that was covered in part 2 of the pranayama series. Couple more breaths. Coming back to center, and then leading with the left shoulder. Rotating, finding the floor with the fingertips, crossing the right hand over the left knee. Lift, expand, broaden, rotate, and then breathing into that with a complete breath. Couple more breaths. Come back to center, circle with the ribs. And reverse. And roll up shoulder blades. Coming onto your hands and knees. Couple of cat-cows. And here we'll start to shift our breathing pattern a little bit. Start with a 4-6. Lift the tailbone, sink the belly, open the chest, look up and breathe in for 4 count. And then tuck the tailbone round, low back, mid back, upper back, tuck the chin and exhale on a 6 count. On your own, 2 or 3 more repetitions. Lengthening the exhale, giving yourself more time to explore the cat position. Now come to 4-4 pattern. Breathe in for 4, out for 4. See if you can feel the difference as we balance the length of the inhalation with the exhale. Now, shifting to 6-4. Breathe in for 6, giving yourself more time to explore cow. Exhale for 4, come right back in to cow for 6. Couple more repetitions. And then back to neutral. Now improvising. Move one hand off of your sticky mat and then maybe rotate internally or externally or bend one or both elbows. And without thinking so much, see if you can feel your way into positions that feel healthy, pleasant, into positions that feel like and create sensations that instinctively you know that you need more of in your life. Every 4 or 5 breaths, reposition your hands. Three or 4 more breaths. Just improvising, feeling your way. Come back to center. A couple more cat-cows with a 4-4 pattern. Balancing the inhale and the exhale. And then coming into a standing forward bend. Tuck the toes, walk the hands in close to the knees, lift the knees, walk your hands in towards your feet, or place your hands on your thighs. 2 or 3 breaths. And then roll up to Tadasana. Bring your hands together over your heart. Vinyasa Sun Salutation. Sweep up on the inhalation. And either come down halfway, supporting weight with your hands, or if your back and hamstrings feel up to it, you can release into a deeper forward bend. As you roll up, remember to buckle the knees as your wrist approaches the kneecaps. Now working with the rhythm of your breathing. On the inhale, roll up, buckling the knees, float the arms overhead. On the exhale, release into the forward bend. 2 more times, roll up, stretch on the inhale, release on the exhale. 1 more time. Back to prayer. And then releasing your arms and taking a moment just to notice how you're feeling. So now we'll explore how we can use the rhythm of the breathing and the rhythm of the movement to create different effects. So staying with the basic Vinyasa Sun Salutation, but now we're going to distort it and we're going to lengthen or shorten the exhale to notice how that affects our practice. So we start off by lengthening the exhale. So perhaps a 4-6, breathe in for 4, out for 6, or you could exaggerate it, 4-7, 4-8. Let's do a 4-6. So I breathe in for 4, and I do it kind of half-heartedly. And And then I exhale for 6. This gives me a little bit longer to hang, to relax. And then I roll up and breathe in. 2, 3, 4, out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then in for 4. So give that a try. If you can comfortably exaggerate the breath a little more, you might try a 4-7 or a 4-8. In for 4. And then on the exhale, just lengthening it comfortably, but longer. On your own, continue. One more round, emphasizing a long exhale. Coming back to center. Okay, good. And by this time, you should be feeling a little bit more alert, a little bit more alive. And so now we go to a 4-4 pattern, or 5-5 or 6-6, but basically inhale, exhale, same length. So continue, 2 or 3 more repetitions. Balancing the length of the inhale with the length of the exhale. And back to center. Okay, good. Now, I'll breathe in for 6, out for 4, or in for 7 or 8, and out for 4. So breathe in. And because you're breathing in for longer, it gives you more time to work the overhead stretch a little bit more strongly. And then on the exhale, you release, but then you start back up almost immediately and hold the overhead stretch. Finish breathing in, working the overhead stretch a little more vigorously. 2 or 3 more rounds, lengthening the inhale and emphasizing the inhale and emphasizing the overhead stretch. One more round. And back to prayer. And then notice how you're feeling. Now we'll work with the 12 steps on salutation, coming to the front of your mat, Tadasana. And we'll work with a 4-4 pattern now, balancing the masculine, the feminine, Ida, Pingala, sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. On your next inhalation, overhead stretch. Reach the hips back, release into your forward bend on the exhale. Leading with the right foot, step back into a big lunge. Hold your breath for just a moment in plank, and then slowly pressing down. Pull the ribs forward, roll the shoulders back, cobra. Three or 4 breaths in downward facing dog. One more breath. Stepping the right foot up. Big lunge. Breathe in. Stretch the hamstrings on the exhale. Overhead stretch as you breathe in. Back to center. Sweep up. Breathe in. Forward bend on the exhale. Leading with the left foot. Deep lunge. Pressing down on an exhale. Pull through to Cobra on the inhale. Down Dog, 4 or 5 breaths. Even inhalation and exhalation, balancing the length of the breath. On an inhale, step the left foot up. Big lunge as you breathe in. Right foot up on the exhale. Overhead stretch as you breathe in. Back to prayer. Now we can explore altering the ratio of inhalation-exhalation in a variety of different poses and exploring the rhythm of our poses. So let's start off with bringing a little more feminine energy in. Typically we do that with a pose that requires relaxation. So first with a forward bend. Reach the hips back, lift the tailbone, sink the belly. Walk your way down until you have a comfortable, gentle stretch, and then decide whether to stay there or whether to allow the upper body to release. Breathe in for 4, and then stretch the exhale to 6 or 7 or 8. And as you take a longer exhale, notice this gives you more time to release, to relax, to surrender into the stretch. Take a breath or two. And then coming back upright. Now we'll explore chair pose, revolving around control and the quality of our breathing. So we'll start with a chair pose where we emphasize the exhale, and then we'll transition to balanced, and then we'll transition into a little bit more warrior breath by shortening the exhale. To start with, breathe in for 4 and out for 6, 7, or 8. This will create a calming effect on the mind. Float the arms overhead. Draw the abdomen in. Lift the chest up. Take the inner armpits back. Shoulder blades down. Chest lifting and the abdomen drawn firm. Try to engage the transverse muscles in the abdominal core. Then begin to bend the knees a little and reach the hips back. Come into the pose maybe 30%. And then notice where you're working harder and ease up, and where you're not working and work in a little deeper. You should be feeling this in the quadriceps, the core, the low back, mid back, and the upper back. Now, as you start to notice this is becoming more challenging, go to 4-4. Breathe in for 4, out for 4. Perhaps even working a little deeper into the pose. And then begin to lengthen the inhale. Breathe in for 6, out for 4, or even 8-4. Drawing energy from the breath. A couple more breaths. On an inhalation, stretch up, float the arms down, supported forward bend. Take a moment or two. Decide whether to stay here or perhaps to relax a little further into the forward bend. Two or three breaths. Stretching the exhalation. And then roll up, coming back to Tadasana. Reestablishing a balanced 4-4 breath. Virabhadrasana 1. Step the right foot forward, step the left foot back. Bend the right knee. We want to get the hips rotated, facing forward, so bring the left hip forward, and then allow the back heel to come off the ground if necessary so that you can fully rotate. Then straighten the back leg and begin reaching through the back heel. Reach forward to the front knee, sink the hips. Bring your belly back. Float the arms overhead. Now, start with 4-4. Nice balanced breathing. Now, if you're wanting to learn how to relax into the pose, lengthen your exhale. Breathe in for 4, out for 6. On the other hand, if you're wanting to work harder and bring up more energy, breathe in for 6, out for 4, and work the pose. Either direction. Either shift into relaxation within the pose, or shift into using the breath to bring up more warrior energy. 2 or 3 breaths. One more breath. Coming back to Tadasana. Reestablish a 4-4 pattern. Second side. Stepping the right leg back, left foot forward. Bend the front knee. Rotate your hips. Let the back heel come off the ground if you need to. Reach through the back heel. Sink the hips. Reach the left knee forward. Pull the belly back. Float the arms overhead. Strong legs. Start with 4-4. Breathe in for 4, out for 4. And then decide whether to use your breath to focus on relaxing into the work or bringing up more energy. 5 or 6 more breaths. Couple more breaths.
back to Tadasana. Re-establish a 4-4 pattern. Supported forward bend, carrying weight with your hands on your thighs. And either stay there or relax into a deeper stretch. Lengthen the exhalation. Use that longer exhale to surrender any resistance to the stretch. Couple more breaths. Come back up. Now bring our breath awareness into balance poses, and we'll work with tree pose. If you prefer to work with a more advanced balance pose, Eagle Dancer Virabhadrasana 3, you're welcome to. Okay. Spread the toes, shift most of the weight to the right. Take the weight out of the left leg. Now, if we want to really pay attention to the breathing, we have to make the breath more important to us than the pose itself. So in your mind, you have to focus and measure success by the quality of your breathing. Let me demonstrate. I'll click and I'll breathe loudly through my lips so you can hear. Breathing in for 4, out for 4. In for 4, out for 4. If I lose my balance, I keep the breath. As I'm coming into the pose, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. And I measure success not by how many times I put my foot down, but by how tightly I hold my attention to the quality of my breathing. And so my goal is going to be to maintain the quality of my breathing while practicing balancing poses. You can choose any rhythm you would like to. If you aren't sure, choose a 4-4 pattern, or you could go with 4-6, emphasizing a long exhale and focusing on relaxing into your balance, or you could flip it around and do a 6-4, emphasizing strength and solidness in your balance. Or you could emphasize balancing your breath, balancing your energy, as well as balancing against the pull of gravity. Choose your rhythm of breathing. Spread the toes on the right foot, shift your weight to the right, take the weight out of the left leg, and then beginning your practice. Keep your mind on the quality and the rhythm of your breathing. If you lose control of the pose, if you lose control of your balance, don't lose control of your breath. Keep the breath moving, even as you're falling, even as you're coming back to center, and even as you're coming back up into the pose again. 2 or 3 more breaths on the first side. Give yourself permission to fall as many times as you fall. Keep your focus on maintaining the quality of your breathing even as you're falling. Transition to the second side. If you've lost control of your breath, reestablish it before you begin shifting to the second side. And again, you can either work with a 4-4 or a 4-6 or 6-4. Two or three more breaths. Coming back to 2 feet. Reach the hips back, tilt the pelvis, lift the tailbone. Start with the back flat and either stay here or release into a forward bend. Stretch the exhale into a sigh. Two or three breaths. Then coming down onto your hands and knees, the cat-cow. So similar to the Vinyasa Sun Salutation, we can choose to raise energy or to calm or to balance by emphasizing the breath. So just see if you can feel the difference. Start with a 6-4. Breathe in for 6, cat-cow. Breathe out for 4, and then in for 6. Couple more times. One more time. Flip it around. 4-6. Breathe out for 6. In for 4, and then out for 6. If this is easy, you can go to 4-7 or 4-8. 2 or 3 more repetitions. And then back to neutral. Coming down onto your stomach. Do 1 cobra, 1 down dog. Shrug the shoulders, roll the shoulders up. Draw the shoulder blades together and down. Reach the chest forward. Try to use your back muscles instead of your hands. Press the tops of the feet into the floor firmly. 2 or 3 more breaths. One more breath. Down dog. 5 or 10 breaths. Breathe in for 6, out for 4. 2 or 3 more breaths. Pigeon pose. Bring the right knee forward. Slide the left leg back. If you want more stretch, walk the left leg to the right and back. Walk your hands to the left. You can come to your elbows or to your chest. Or you can lift up. You can roll the hips a little left or a little right. If you want more stretch, lift the right knee, move it back and set it down again, and then walk the left leg back even further. Lengthen the exhale. Breathe in for 4, out for 5 or 6 or 7 or 8. Use that longer exhalation to relax more deeply into the stretch. Two or 3 more breaths on the first side. Couple more breaths. Downward facing dog. Reverse the breathing. Breathe in for 6 or 7 or 8. Breathe out for 4. Three or 4 more breaths. One more breath. Bring the left knee forward. Slide the right leg back into the left. You can walk your hands to the right a little bit. Looking for a pleasant, safe stretch, outer thigh, hip, or buttocks. Experiment, explore, until you find just the right position. Then turn your attention to your breath, stretching the exhale. Using the extra time on the exhalation to relax into the stretch. Three or 4 more breaths on the second side.
Coming back up to your hands and knees. A couple of cat-cows. And we'll be working next with a back roll. If you have a roller, take a moment to bring that to your mat. If you don't, a rolled up blanket will work. Those of you using a blanket, fold your blanket long. And then starting from one edge, rolling. Don't worry about the edges. Get the center line tight. So as you start to pick up a few wrinkles, stretch out the fabric. You want this area right from here to here to be firm. Now, if it's too big, you can unroll the blanket as much as you need to, and if it gets too easy, you can roll it back up again. We'll start with the roller underneath the upper back. Arms extended. If this feels awkward for the neck, use your hands to support some of your weight. If your shoulders are bothering you, you can try different positions. You can even bring your arms up over your chest or grab your elbows. In this position, breathe deep, stretch the exhale into a sigh. After every 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 breaths, lift your hips, push yourself an inch or two over the roller, set the hips down, and relax into the new position. We're going to work our way down the length of the spine. So the roller will end up in the low back or pelvis. Take 4 more minutes. Every 4 or 5 breaths, reposition, pushing yourself across the roller, and then relaxing into the new position. Go for 3 more minutes. This is supposed to be comfortable. If it's intense or awkward or unpleasant, unroll the blanket. Unroll it enough and this will be easy. On the other hand, if it's getting too easy, roll the blanket up. If you aren't sure how to adjust or how to use the back roller, I have a special video on my website that'll show you how to make your own roller and also how to use it. Go for a couple more minutes. The roller should be over halfway down the spine by now. Those of you that finished a little earlier, go back to a favorite spot. Ten or 15 more breaths. If there's any area of your back you've neglected, position the roller in that area for the last 4 or 5 breaths, just to balance out.
And then lifting the hips, removing the roller, lowering the hips, drawing the knees into your chest, rocking side to side as you hug the knees in. Coming into a spinal twist. The easier variation is to bring both knees into your chest. If you want a little bit deeper stretch, straighten the left leg, pull the right knee in. So either just the right knee or both knees. Then roll to your left. With your left hand, anchor the top knee, whether you have both knees or just one knee. And then with the right arm, extend out. And then let the weight of the right arm hang into the shoulder. As with all of the poses in yoga, you should be comfortable. If your shoulder is bothering you, find a better position for your arm, including putting your hand on your chest. If you remember practicing the complete breath or complete back breath, you can utilize that in this pose. Now experiment. Either lengthen the inhale or lengthen the exhale. And just notice how that affects your experience of the pose. Five or 10 more breaths. Two or three breaths to finish. Come back to center. Draw both knees to your chest, rock side to side, releasing any contraction, any compression in the low back. Either draw both knees in or draw the left knee in and straighten the right leg away. Roll to the right with your right hand, anchor the top knee. With your left arm opening into your twist. Again, find a position, resting your hand on your forehead, bring your hand over your heart, extending, elbow bent, elbow straight, changing the angle of the arm until you find a position where you can relax into comfort, not discomfort. Start with a 4-4 pattern and then go one way or the other. Or 6 or 6-4. or 5 more breaths on the second side. A breath or two. Back to center, draw the knees in, rock side to side. Shavasana. If you have a rolled up blanket and you wish to put that under your knees or under your neck, or if you prefer to lay without any support, just taking a few moments to position yourself. You're looking for maximum comfort, but also for symmetry and expansiveness. And for keeping the chest open, the groin open, shoulder blades sitting flat on the floor. Take a moment to stretch just your face lengthwise. Open your mouth, pull your lips into an O, move your teeth apart until you feel the cheeks stretch. Lift the eyebrows, roll the eyes up, stretch the face lengthwise. Take a breath, release. Take a moment to make any last adjustments. When you're completely satisfied, begin relaxing. We'll start with a 6-4 breath, 2 or 3 repetitions. Breathe in for 6, out for 4. Use this to explore the mechanics of breathing in. You've got a little bit more time. Use that time to really pay attention to how you breathe in. See if you can breathe in a little bit into the back and into the belly, and allow the chest to be still. Now shift to a 4-4 pattern. And as you do that, begin relaxing your face, your eyes, your lips, your tongue, your mouth. Fingers, your hands, your arms and shoulders. Your feet, ankles, calves, knees and thighs. Loosening hips, relaxing the buttocks. Low back, the belly, the kidneys, the ribs, the chest and the shoulders. The back of the neck and soften the throat. The jaws, the lips, the tongue, the mouth.
Now shift to 4, 6, for 4, 8. Breathe in for 4, and then stretch the exhale. Now this time, instead of counting, focus on breathing in comfortably, easily, and then breathing out slower, but measure success by how much the exhale helps you to relax. Create the perfect exhalation to help you drop deeper into your relaxation. Let your inhale be whatever is necessary to support the perfect exhale. And with each exhalation, letting go. Jaws, the lips, the tongue, the mouth, the eyeballs, the space behind, beneath, the round between the eyes, letting the eyeballs melt into the back of your head. Eyelids, the eyebrows, the forehead. The temples, soft and hollow. And relaxing the scalp and the crown. 10 or 15 more breaths. Slowly, lazily, moving into a stretch. Arching, twisting. Roll to one side, take a breath or two.
pushing back up to a comfortable seated position. We'll be sitting for a few minutes, so you might want to take a moment to get a little support to sit on. So we'll close with a little pranayama, starting with breath of fire, then alternate nostril breathing. If you aren't familiar with these, you can look at the Pranayama Workshop number 3, or part 3, which covers these in more detail. And then we'll move into pattern breath 416-8, and that is covered in the Pranayama Workshop number 4, or part 4. We'll begin with breath of fire. So we'll finish with a short practice of breath of fire, moving directly into alternate nostril, and then from there directly into a 2 or 3 minute seated meditation. If you're unfamiliar with these breathing practices, I have a workshop on pranayama, the third in the series, pranayama part 3, that you can watch on YouTube or on my website, and that'll give you what you need. For now though, just follow along as best you can. Sitting tall, broadening through the shoulders, releasing the shoulder blades. Breath of fire. Keep going. 1 more minute. If you get lightheaded, breathe normally. "30 seconds. Now take a deep breath. If you know a complete back breath, try that. Alternate nostril. 2 fingers on the third eye, thumb on one side, 2 fingers on the other. Notice which nostril's active. Breathe in through the active nostril. Close both sides and then open the passive and exhale. Breathe in through the passive nostril. Switch fingers, exhale. Continue on your own. As you continue, either use a 4-4 pattern, or if you're a little sluggish, 6-4, or if your mind is a little agitated, a 4-6. And if you're feeling fairly balanced, 4-4.
With each repetition, use a little less pressure on the nostrils until you aren't even pressing, you're just touching one side as you breathe in and touching the opposite side as you exhale. Now, 4-16-8. If you're unfamiliar with this pattern, the Pranayama Workshop number 4. Start with 4, 4, 4. Breathe in for 4. Hold your breath for 4, with or without the Jalahandra lock. Exhale for 4. Breathe in for 4. Hold your breath for 4. Exhale for 4. Those of you that are comfortable with this, go to 4-8-8. Breathe in for 4. Hold your breath for 8. Exhale for 8. If this is difficult, cheat. Find a pattern that does work for you, like 4-6-6. If you're comfortable, 2 or 3 more repetitions, 4-8-8. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 8. Exhale for 8. Those of you that are finding this is comfortable and calming and relaxing, you're welcome to work your way towards 4-16-8. First hint of difficulty, back off to an easier pattern. The first hint of boredom, work your way further towards 4-16-8. A sense of floating at the top during the hold, not clenching. Above all, this pattern should have a calming effect on the mind and on the body. If it's causing tension, immediately back off to an easier pattern. 2 or 3 more repetitions. One more round. Then let the body breathe the way it wants to breathe. Witnessing, paying attention to the breath without interfering. Take a moment to notice how you feel. When you're ready, opening your eyes. I'd like to thank you for joining me for today's practice, and I hope you can join us for future workshops. And to close, bring your hands together over your heart. Namaste.